What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky with Videohomicide. Back to discuss the sequel to August Underground. Today we're going to be returning with 2003's August Underground Mortem, directed by Fred Vogel, as well as a bunch of other members of the toe tag team, so shout out to all of them. I know this movie's not for everybody, okay? But I enjoy it. I enjoy these types of movies. I never really thought this would be my bag, man, but honestly, after watching the first August Underground, and one thing I kind of failed to mention in that review I did with that movie, I loved sort of like the banter, like the back and forth banter between the two guys, and like the camera guy like talking to the bodies and like always laughing. It was almost like a Beavis and Butthead thing where like that guy found it very funny, and I loved how Fred or Peter in the movie said to him a few times like, don't laugh, don't fucking laugh, like as he's killing these people. And I really liked that. I thought that's a very sort of spooky element to it, and I don't know if that was put in there on purpose or what, but I really fucking enjoyed those moments where Peter kind of like pulled you out or pulled you like away from, this isn't funny, like don't fucking laugh at me kind of thing, but then like the next minute like laughing his ass off. So there's no rhyme or reason. Now, the reason I bring that up is because in this movie, August Underground Mortem, there's a whole lot of them commenting, like, and when I say them, like there's Peter, and then the camera guy from the first one is gone. So now we have this guy named Maggot and his sister, who is dating Peter, but is also fucking his sister. There's like this whole commentary that they have about like these people that they're dealing with are like disgusting, and like this place is a mess, and these people, oh, this is filthy, oh, you're gross, you're sick, and all this stuff. And it's like literally the house that was shown in the beginning, which is believed to be the house of Maggot and the sister, Krusty as her name is, like that place was a fucking write-off, like trash. Like when I was watching these movies, I was thinking in my head, like, where the fuck did they find these places? Because like wherever they are, they're either at like a hoarder's house, or they just literally took a few weeks to just totally trash a place and just fill it with garbage and just all kinds of shit. It's kind of like what you'd expect like a hoarder's house to look like after like you remove about like 5% of the hoardings, so I really like that. And I don't know, man. I never thought I never thought this would be the type of shit that I would just think is fucking entertaining as hell, but it is. And I think I've found myself laughing my ass off a lot of times because of how ridiculous everything was. With this movie, it's the same sort of deal as the first one. It's just sort of like these one take most of the time. I feel like there was quite a few cuts in this one throughout the scenes, probably to dress certain things. Like there's a scene where Krusty, the girl, is puking on these two girls like endlessly, and it's real puke. Like she's actually puking. Like it was, to me, I would be surprised if that was faked, and that is probably going to be a turnoff for a lot of people. But with me, I just kept finding myself saying, "What the fuck is next? Like, what is going to be next?" And I was like constantly not disappointed. So there's a scene where Krusty and Maggot, they have this little tiny shitty room where there's these two boxes where there's a couple, one person in each box, and they're tormenting the girl, tormenting the guy. They make the guy cut his dick off with a pair of scissors, which it shows in graphic detail. Special effects top notch, top fucking notch. And once the guy's dick's cut off, Krusty like gives it a little smooch, and then she basically tries to shove it up the pussy of the dead guy's girlfriend. So like the guy cuts his dick off, girl takes the guy's dick and then shoves it up his girlfriend's vagina. How crazy is that? That was hardcore, man. I was laughing my ass off though, because I was like looking at it and like, like I'm sure we're all adults, we've all been in sex shops and stuff like that, and like you could tell like they went there and they're like, listen, we need the most realistic looking fucking dildo that you have, and they delivered. Or maybe it was probably made through one of the special effects teams, I guess. They probably cast their own dick for all you know, cut it, or dressed it so the inside is like full of blood, because like it's there in detail, man. And brutal stuff. There's a lot of oh man, the part that would probably offend any person that has any sort of morals at all, other than the end, like basically the end of the film. But there's a scene where the character Maggot they're tormenting these two girls that the girl was puking on and all that shit. And now there's the one, and he like cuts her stomach and pulls out all of her intestines and stuff, which is crazy on its own. Then Krusty goes, hey, you should fuck her guts. So a girl who's laying there, a corpse of a girl with her guts hanging out, a guy has sex with the guts hanging out of her stomach. And yeah, it was fucking out of control. It's like, dude, this is fucking crazy. Could you imagine? Like, I couldn't imagine like taking this movie and like remember back in the day at Walmart with all the TVs. I'm sure it still I haven't been in Walmart electronics in a long fucking time, but all the TVs would be on and there'd be like the same movie playing. Imagine like someone got a copy of fucking August Underground Mortem and put it in that and just let it play for the unknowing public. How insane would it be? It's almost like I have like this sick sense of humor where, you know, I think that really fucked up stuff is funny, i.e. August Underground, but also like, you know, I have a comic called Filthy Ralph, and for those of you that have read Filthy Ralph probably can understand the type of shit that I find funny. But this movie is just like right up my alley. Like, it's fucking twisted and gross, but I'm just finding myself in love with it. Like, honestly, like I have August Underground, the DVD, which is signed by fucking Fred Vogel. Like even when my uncle gave me that, I was like, oh yeah, sure, cool, whatever. And now that like I've seen these movies, I'm like, dude, this is so sick. And that's a 2-disc special edition. And on the second disc, it has like 4 hours of special features. So after tomorrow night, I plan on watching Penance, August Underground Penance, which is the third and final installment of that series. And after that, I plan on watching all the supplement features that I can find, like off the disc and online. Like, unfortunately, I don't have physical copies of August Underground 2 or 3, so I've been watching them on fedupmovies.com, which is just chock full of all kinds of stuff. I don't know if it has Red Sin Tower, but shout out to a homie that messaged me on the first August Underground thing, and he was talking about Red Sin Tower, and he mentioned a few other films, and that's definitely going to be next on the plate. You know, coming out of like October last year kind of really had me not pooped or winded with horror, but it just like I was just kind of like, okay, I watched a lot of like stuff, like a lot of horror films, and I just kind of want to watch some, you know, other kinds of movies. And it almost like, and I'll admit this, man, I kind of like wasn't watching a lot of horror films for a couple of like since October, really. Like, I've watched some horror films, but like, you know, it's rare. I might watch one a week. Whereas I used to try to watch like, you know, one movie a night. I remember back in the day I used to try to watch like as many movies as fucking possible. But now watching like maybe one a night, maybe two a night if I'm really wanting to be fucking saucy. It just took like August Underground. Actually, to be perfectly honest, it took Lucio Fulci. All right, let's be fucking real here. I watched the Gates of Hell trilogy like over the course of last week. I actually watched them twice, okay? But the second viewing was like me putting the tape in at night and just kind of like, you know, chilling out in my room and fucking I'm on my phone and stuff, listening to stuff, reading shit, and I got Gates of Hell playing in the background. But love those movies, okay? Absolutely love them. And after that, I was like looking at my shelf, and like I mentioned in the first video, I'm like, dude, I want to really fucking watch all the stuff that I own. And then I start with fucking August Underground, and now I'm like, oh, I gotta watch all this guy's movies and all these toe tag movies, and like, you know, starting to actually like give certain shit a chance that I probably wouldn't at one point. Like, now I'm kind of like obsessing over this guy, like this Lucifer Valentine guy. I've heard about this name over the years, like from Moods and shit like that, and I'm pretty sure he did a movie called Regurgitated Vomit Dolls or Sacrifice, some bullshit. I know there's a few of them, but you know, I at least now have to check them out. You know, even if I like turn it on and if I'm not getting like a good vibe, you know, like if it's like too cheesy, because like I've seen like some of these like really extreme stuff. Like, this will kind of turn me off back in the day. I don't remember what I watched, but I just remember watching like some really probably like early 2000s, just cheesers, but they're like trying to be a movie, you know, but they're like ultra violent and stuff, but it's, I don't know, man, I just could not get into it. But apparently it just needs to be shot really shittily, and I'm gonna enjoy it, and have a guy like fucking Fred Vogel, who's like, you know, like I was watching Mr. Parker's video that he did interviewing him. I've only watched about 40 minutes of that, so I got to finish that off. But you know, like, he's skinny now, but like back in these days he was like a chubby guy, and he's like into horror, obviously into like music and shit. So like I relate to him on that level. And man, it's insane to see certain things that like you'd never thought you'd see, like, period, or like never really think about. Like in the first one, when he cuts that guy's toe off and puts it in the girl's mouth and tapes it so it's like in her mouth, I thought that was nuts. But at the end of this movie, you see like the guy Maggot like bang, like fucking the corpse of like what's probably supposed to be a child. I don't know. I'm not gonna put this fucking movie on for my mom or anything like that. I definitely got to show my dad. He's got to see this shit. He's gonna be like, whoa. He's gonna fucking trip out, man, because my dad is another guy that can appreciate the art of it, the fucking special effects of it. Like, this is like as shitty as the film, like the filming is and all that stuff. Like, dude, look at the effects. We're talking about better effects than you see in most, you know, $100 million movies, you know. Like, tell me the last time you seen a guy's dick get cut off in a movie that realistic and that up close. You haven't. It doesn't exist. The limit does not exist. I just quoted a fucking Lindsay Lohan film while talking about August Underground. So, to round off the story, my favorite part of it, which is, I don't know, got to be the most like random part. Like, they meet this guy, okay, who's a guy named Killjoy, who I did a little bit of research. He's a musician, and he's passed away in about 2018, 2019. He passed away. I don't know what from, but rest in peace to him. Because he plays the most random dude, most random character in this movie. Because, like, I feel like a lot of it, like, I was smoking, right? So I'm, like, also baked while watching this stuff. But, like, I feel like he came out of fucking nowhere. And they're, like, hanging out and stuff. And, like, he just, like, he, like, takes him into this, like, little shed where he's got, like, all these bodies. And, like, they're all puking and calling him a sick fuck. They're like, dude, you're a sick fuck. And, like, puking. And, like, you're gross. And it's like, dude, you guys are crazy as fuck too. Like, what are you talking about? And like, I don't know what the fuck happens. He like gets the camera and like takes it in. Like, first he's like filming them sleeping, then he goes into the shed, kills this broad, and then it shows like the rest of them, because they're like crash at his house. So he's like another serial killer guy. They crash at his place, and then like they all wake up and they're gonna split, and they go into this room, and like the killer guy is like, first of all, he's wearing like, you know those hats that they wore like in the fucking 20s where it was like a propeller hat? So imagine if you took the propeller off, painted it black, and put some devil horns on the front. That's what this guy's wearing. Wearing glasses, drinking a cup of coffee or a cup of something, and doing like, it looks like he's doing paperwork of some kind. And he's like, yeah, I just gotta finish up this work. And the guy like keeps kind of talking, and like the guy's just like brushing him off. He's like, yeah, I'm just working. And then he's like, yeah, maybe I'll get your number and we'll hang out. And the guy's like, yeah, sure, I'm just working. And I think that was probably my favorite part, because it was so random. I was like, dude, I love this. I love this community of like these filmmakers. Like, I only wish I discovered the toe tag stuff earlier. You know, I heard of it, but like, again, I was just like too into a certain type of thing, and it's not that I thought I was too good to watch this shit. It's just that, first of all, I could never get a hold of it, and I just never really had a interest in it, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it, but I'm glad that I fucking finally watched it, dude, because it's some real trippy shit, man. But we'll leave it at that. I'll have one more toke with you, and then we'll call it a night, because it's only 2:30, and roughly I'll probably go to bed about fucking 6 o'clock in the morning, because I don't start work till 3, but you know how that goes. I will say this. Big shout out to everyone that's watching the videos. I really appreciate it. I think it's sick. And make sure you leave a 666 in the comments. If you're new, leave a 666 in the comments times 2. All right. August Underground, Fred Vogel, Toe Tag, all those guys. I'm in for the long haul. All right, I'm in for the long haul. I watched Mortem, and the thing was, like, Dave Parka, he said that this one is like he says this is the one that, like, he can't watch, or like I was like thinking, like, dude, like, this one was like awesome. It was awesomely hardcore and violent and vicious. It's a vicious, visceral, just fucking horror fest. Like, I love the hammer comes back. Like, there's just so many, like, sort of there's like the scene where, like, there's like this guy that's like dead in a fucking hallway, like, over a heroin overdose. And there's a lot of maggots in this movie. They obviously got a hold of, like, a maggot trainer, or not a maggot trainer, but, like, they knew some motherfucker that had some maggots, you know, some dumpster in the back, some pizza place. They went and scraped the fucking maggots off and peppered them throughout the movie. But again, if you can't handle the guerrilla filming, I can understand that, because it's kind of a jarring way to watch, like, an hour and a half, hour 20-minute feature. But, you know, I feel like if you've watched a lot of crappy film school films and stuff like that, you kind of can, like, that's like the way I relate to it, because, like, I went to film school and all this shit, and, like, you know, whatever, made a bunch of fucking, like, the film school aspect wasn't the part that I value of that. It's the fucking value that I got to rent this crazy equipment, learn how to use it and stuff, hang out with buddies, get baked all the time, and make some horror films. And I made, like, quite a few that I'm actually proud of, that have screened all over the world, which is fucking insane. And I look up to guys like Fred Vogel and other guys like that really kind of came from nothing and just made something hardcore. Like, I've never made anything on the lines of August Underground, but I've made some stuff that I'm pretty proud of, some graphic stuff and shit. So if you've never checked out my short films, they're on the channel. There's a playlist, short films. And yeah, man, with that being said, thanks for watching. Adios.